So, welcome back for our second part of Chapter 11. How do people become drawn or attracted to each other? One important way for people to enter into interpersonal relationships with each other is obviously to actually meet them first. Out of all the people you meet, the people that you become friends with are usually the people whom you meet and interact with more frequently. And things we become familiar with, like songs, restaurants, and objects, become attractive, somewhat like classical conditioning. This is called propinquity effect. The propinquity effect operates due to the mere exposure effect, where the more exposure we have to a stimulus, the more we might be attracted to it. Research thus far has found this to be a universal mechanism of attraction. Interestingly, the book discussed how cadets who were put together alphabetically were more likely to become friends with others who were close to them alphabetically. Think about who you stood next to in class every day. Similarity attraction effect is another proposed mechanism of attraction, where people are proposed to be attracted to each other if they are more similar in terms of economic background, personality, religion, social background, and activities. But regarding culture, research shows that the similarity attraction effect might be more of a Western ideal and not a universal. In fact, similarity attraction may be restricted to Western samples. In research, people in Japan did not demonstrate this effect. So specifically, in a study conducted by our own textbook author, Hein, they looked at similarity attraction between Canadian and Japanese samples. Specifically, they had each participant meet a stranger of the same sex and nationality. Participants then went on to complete a personality survey about themselves. And later, they were shown a made up personality survey about the stranger they met, which was either similar or very different from their own personality responses. Participants were asked how much they felt they would like the stranger, and they found distinct cultural contrasts. For the Canadian sample, or the Western sample, perceived similarity of a stranger strongly predicted how much the person thought that they would like the stranger, thus showing evidence of the similarity attraction effect. In contrast, for the Japanese sample, perceived similarity was not related to how much they thought they would like the stranger. Relationships are universal. As described in our book, it is human nature that we live and interact with others. Yet, how we relate to others differs across cultures. Nevertheless, Alan Fiske, an anthropology professor from UCLA, proposed an underlying structure common to all types of relationships worldwide, where relationships are based on one or more basic elements of being social, including communal sharing, authority ranking, equality matching, and market pricing. In communal sharing, members of a group emphasize common identity, where everyone is treated the same, resources are pooled for use by everyone, no one deserves more of the resources than others. An example is a romantic couple, a family, or a community kibbutz. Ideally, communal sharing involves members sharing suffering and common well-being. With authority ranking, people are ordered along hierarchical social dimensions, where higher on the ranking, the people who are higher on a ranking are afforded greater privilege and prestige. People lower on the ranking are afforded less privilege and prestige, but they may be entitled to protection and care from those above them. Examples of this are the family, where there's a parent to a child, communities with class, caste, or ethnic rankings, military hierarchies like officers and soldiers, sports team standings, even academia. Think about the student-professor relationship. Or for professors, we must go through phases of distinction from assistant to associate to full professor. Equality matching is a relationship where social structure is based on balance and reciprocity. In equality matching relationships, record keeping is done to keep track of what is exchanged, and people are motivated to pay back what has been exchanged in turns. An example of this is exchanging Christmas cards and other loose exchanges of favors. Again, family might be a part of this, where maybe one part of the couple pays for the rent and the other pays for everything having to do with the child's schooling. There's also giving donations for a prize. Often you'll give donations at Christmas and you'll get a flower in return. There's cooperative, turn taking, work peers, one person getting one vote at elections, sports with rules and procedures, and equal share distributions. There's even the eye for an eye vengeance and restitution toward righting a wrong. Finally, in market price relationships, the social structure also emphasizes balance and reciprocity, but there's equal exchange structures occurring at the same time, and it's based on proportionality and ratio. Relationships are oriented to socially meaningful ratios or rates, such as prices, wages, interest, rents, tithes, and cost-benefit analysis. Examples are services for hire, property that can be bought, sold, or treated as an investment. Marriage is organized contractually in terms of costs and benefits to partners and families, such as dowry or prospects for a good future. And then renters and landlords. The book proposes that all relationships should encompass one or more of these four proposed social structures. So they assume that they are universal. Still, there seems to be cultural variability regarding the extent to which each relationship operates. Communal sharing is seen more in collectivist cultures, market pricing in more individualistic cultures, equality matching in traditional or subsistence societies, and authority ranking in hierarchical-based societies. It seems to make sense. So I'm going to stop here, and then we'll move on to part 3.